Welcome. So today I'm going to show you what I did using Chat-GPT, and it's a website which I created, and it used HTML and JavaScript, and the program which I made is here. For you can see it's the jumbled words game, and you click this button, show the scrambled words, and it shows you four different words of different letters, and they're all jumbled up. So the first one is CVP. I don't know which word it makes, but the second one, maybe it's Veda or something like that. And if you click on reveal the answers, you can see it's PVC, Dave, lunch, and labor. And some of the words such as PVC and Dave might not look like dictionary words, and so we didn't do such a deep refining such as what you can expect in software like the Wordle games and related professional tools. So this is the first question I asked this Chat-GPT, and this is a free version. And the question I asked was, I have a string in JS, that's JavaScript, and jumble the words and show me. And here one thing you have to remember is that I am not a website developer. I do not code in HTML or JavaScript, but I have background in game development, and so if you ask for my perspective, I will say that the web is a real mess with the HTML, the CSS, and JavaScript, and it could have been much simpler, but this is what we have got. And here the answer is certainly you can use JavaScript to jumble the words in a string. This is an example function, and it put out a function, and I'm not sure how to use the function. So what did I do? So I went out, this explains it here, and the answer it gave me was not the one I was looking for. So here I have to look it in depth to understand that. I am not a JavaScript coder, but I understand code. So I understood that he is using a sentence and trying to jumble the words in a sentence. So this, I have a string in JS and jumble the words and show me. This did not mean to jumble the arrangement of the different words, but I wanted to arrange the different characters instead. So I asked it that I have a single word and jumble its letter and show me, and he uses another approach, Chat-GPT, and this is the one I'm looking for. As you could see in my example project I showed you a little while before. Then I said that I have a word in JS, turn all its letters into capital and jumble up the letters and output it. So this doesn't look pretty. This one here doesn't look pretty because some of the characters are uppercase and the lowercase doesn't look good. So he did it really well. This is a simple function and it does it really well, but still you can see that there is a little bit of error here. I don't know why this error is there, but there is an error here. And as I said, I am not very accustomed to functions in JavaScript, so I asked the software to output the word directly, and here he wrote a JavaScript code that is without a function, and this is the output in the console, and this is the exactly output that I was looking for. And then I asked him the bigger problem, that is the main goal of the game which I created and showed you, and this is, I have an array of words, do the same as before but show separately for 3, 4, 5 and 6 letter words. And he made a really good script here, and I do not have to go into the details, but as I can see, the output is the one I am looking for, but I need some corrections to be made. For example, this is the correction, and this is to show only one word for each length. As you can see, there are 2 words or 3 words, and in a puzzle I want only one 3-letter word, one 4-letter word, and one for 5 and 6 letter words. So he created this, and the output is now perfectly what I want. So you can see that for these simple programming tasks, Chat-GPT is doing really commendably. And here you can see that you cannot see it from here, but the code it made had an error, and that error is it is showing the same word every time, and I want to fix it. So I want it to show different words. But the problem here, I did not find out the problem, but he did it for myself. And this is the issue, is that the code was not properly handling the case where there are no words available. So it corrected the program so that the word is available, and only if it's available, then the thing is shown. And I tried it with in the JavaScript playground, and it showed that when there is no 3 words in the array which I was using, then it was not showing the first sentence here. So it was just showing jumbled 4-letter, 5 and 6-letter words. And then I said the program to pick random words from that array with that specific length. And I need random words because if I make the puzzle game, I want the words to come out randomly every time. And he uses this a little more complicated code. Not complicated at all, but I'm just telling you, if you are new to this might look a little elaborate, but it's really simple word. And here you can see that he reverted back to lowercase letters, and this was not fixed in my final code also because I was busy doing other parts of the code. But you can see that the program can go back, and it is not that reliable to remember all the details, and so there is a human element to the programming. And I said and randomize the letters of each word, and when it was doing so, it forgot, when it was this picking random words, it forgot to jumble them up, which it was doing before. So he did it with a correction, and now the answer is what I want. And this is the old Fisher-Yates algorithm, which I also used in one of my research papers, one of my earliest research papers. And then I wanted to show the answers too alongside, and it showed it in a rather nice way, the jumbled word and the letter word. And this is actually what I wanted in the game. So I asked it in a very direct way to do something, and I asked it to incorporate this in an HTML file, so that if I click a button called jumble word of the day, I get the 4 words displayed below the button, and the button gets disabled for 10 seconds. Create another button in the right of the old button called reveal the answers, and make the button disabled for 10 seconds, and when clicked it will reveal the original words. And he made this HTML file, and I ran it. It was really good, but there was one type error. This error that was shown to me from the place I was using the HTML code to run. It showed that 3-letter word is null, and this is a previous mistake, and it corrected it. And then I said that when I press the reveal button, the same words are not shown. So what it did was that when I was pressing the reveal button, it was showing me a set of different random elements of the array. So it was not right, and then it corrected it, and but the correction was improper, so I asked him to add in a check so that uh, the jumbled words are not the same as original. and and it remembered that I was telling it to do in the old file itself, and it did the corrections here. And then I asked it to make it was fine. It was a good product there, and this was exactly the file did this it created this one, the HTML file, which you can see up here. It shows the scrambled words, and you can reveal the answers, yes, like that. And then I asked it to make the text that is shown colorful and bigger, so it used cascading style sheets or CSS. Many of you know that. And this is another really complicated and boring language, um, but it did make these colorful fonts and colorful letters, but it had mistakes in the code. So I went back to the previous one, and so I asked it, show me the previous code, forget the latest one. This was the previous code, and it was working. And then I also asked to separately output the index of the words from the array, and I asked it to do so because I wanted the index of the words to be I wanted the index of the words in the array. So if I was using an array of 1,000 words, I wanted to know which words were there, because I wanted to make another game where the words are shown for the day but the answers are not shown, and instead what you get is a puzzle code which you can use in another application to find the answers. And this was done so that the product doesn't feel cheap. If it gives you the answers immediately, then you might lose interest soon. So I wanted to be like those puzzles in the newspapers where the answers come in the next day, so you have this day to find out what you can manage. So this I asked for, this separately outputting the index, and it did really well. And then I said that it shouldn't output this in the main place, the main window, but it should be done in the console, and it just obliged. And then I asked to combine the three indexes to an unique hexadecimal string and display it below the four words as the puzzle ID. I asked it because I did not want the three numbers to be displayed like 12, 17, and 18, and this I wanted to convert to another number so that it's not immediately apparent that the 12th, 16th, and 17th element of the array is there. I wanted I wanted a less obvious output so that it can be used as the puzzle ID, and I can get back those three numbers from the puzzle ID. But what it did was I asked it separately. There's other list of questions there. I don't want to go in there, but I asked it separately in another window to know about the options which I can do to make the string not so obvious. And it returned that you can multiply the strings, and it was in my mind. I was thinking of multiplication, but if I was using this 10,000 elements, the number might be too big because it multiplies 3 times, and it becomes a very large number, and we can have this can be larger than the type that can hold the variable, the value of the variable. So I tried other words. There are it showed that you can just use a hyphen or this concatenation of strings. Those are possible, but it just defeats the purpose of hiding the hiding the I do not want to show the number of the puzzle. So it then recommended this hexadecimal string conversion to hex, and it told me that it is not a secure or anything like that. And so I tried different options. Also, it also told me to use a base 256 encryption, but it told me that the decryption is going to be a long process, so I did not want that, because I do not want to stress the computers. So I just wanted and this hexadecimal strings, and from here the problems started to crop up, because I wanted to discard some of these new code blocks and start from a previous one, and this was not going well. It was showing various errors. Sorry. So when I went to make a slightly more complicated uh, program, which is I'm sorry, when I wanted to um, make a slightly more complicated program, it was not as useful, because doing modifications from the middle of a code, uh, when it gives the answer from the middle of the answers, it is difficult. And when I add much more layers, as you'd use in a real world software solution, it gets confused quite a bit. So in the end, I must say that it is a very strong tool for the modern day programmer. It is like a newbie programmer who has the basics very strong. It is very strong in basic algorithms, basic use of scripts. It is extremely strong there. But when the higher level elements come into play, it becomes a little bit flabbergasted. So it was really fun trying to teach it to program and get my results. But in the end, when I wanted to polish the software a bit, it became a little bit cumbersome, and it hurt my head a bit, because it was getting too complex and the results were not coming as gracefully. Um, but in the end, as you saw, that you can have a really working product using this Chat-GPT, and I think it's for the better of the programmer. So thank you for listening. Hope to see you again sometime, and bye bye.